If you've tried everything to focus and you always end up back in the same place, hold on, breathe, because the problem isn't you, it's that you've probably been treating the symptom and nobody ever showed you the real cause. You absolutely can unlock real focus. It just starts somewhere very different from what they've told you. And how am I so sure? Because I know what they sold you. Focus as a tool you install through sheer willpower. Just find the right technique and it's solved. Except you've already tried dozens of techniques, and here you are, in the same place. The truth is that focus works in a different way. It always shows up when whatever's pulling you away clears out of the path. And what pulls you away is almost never the noise of your phone. It's something hidden underneath it. So you can forget the magic formula and the 7-day method. We're gonna figure out the path to real focus together, layer by layer, and each one will show you a piece of why your focus breaks. By the end, you won't just concentrate better, you'll see exactly what was dragging you away this whole time. Ready? Layer 1. The foundation of it all isn't what you'd expect. Before we talk about anything focus related, you need to catch one thing. The exact instant you run. Notice what happens. You're on the task, all calm, and suddenly your hand is already on your phone without you deciding anything. That jump isn't random. It always happens at the same point, the second the task gets slightly uncomfortable. It might be boredom, it might be difficulty, it might be that quiet little doubt of, can I even pull this off? And an instant later, you're somewhere else, relieved, without even noticing you ran. Your phone isn't even the real problem, it's just the nearest exit. Distraction is an escape from a feeling, and as long as you think it's a lack of willpower, you'll keep fixing the wrong thing. So, at first, that's all it is. When you catch yourself running, stop for half a second and notice what you felt right before you jumped. No judging, no fixing, just seeing. You'll be ready for the next layer when you can understand what makes you run, instead of just saying, I got distracted. Layer 2. You spend years blaming yourself for something that, in large part, was built against you. The distraction you think is your own weakness actually lives in 2 or 3 easy exits within arm's reach. Your phone on the desk, the open tab waiting, the notification blinking in the corner of the screen. There's no point trying to resist it by brute force, because you're fighting something designed by very smart people precisely to beat you. So you put the exits out of reach, which means phone in another room, tabs closed, sound off. And the real reason for doing this has nothing to do with becoming more disciplined. You remove the exits so that one thing happens. When the easy path is gone, that discomfort you were running from has nowhere left to drain off to. It rises to the surface, and it's exactly that discomfort we need to show up, because it's the real subject of this whole video. You know it's time for the next layer when your hand reaches for the exit, finds nothing, and the discomfort just sits there, with nowhere to run. Layer 3. And this is the one that bothers you most and changes everything the most. Now that the easy path is gone, next time the discomfort rises, you're gonna do something that seems small and is enormous. You stay with the discomfort, even if it's just a little, like 30 seconds. You feel the boredom, or the difficulty, or the urge to escape, and you do nothing with it. You don't solve it, you don't run, you just stay. Because here's what nobody told you about focus. It rests on one single thing: your tolerance for that specific discomfort of staying with a task while no new stimulation comes in. Willpower burns out fast and abandons you halfway. Tolerance you build up, brick by brick. And the reason you can't focus is that you never had to build that tolerance, because there was always an exit nearby. Every time you stay the 30 seconds instead of running, that capacity grows a tiny bit. It's slow, almost invisible, but it's right there, in that holding on, that real focus is born. And you'll be ready for the next layer when 30 seconds of boredom stop feeling like an emergency. Layer 4. So far we've treated distraction as an escape from any old discomfort. But notice something. There's a kind of task you put off more than all the others, and it's almost never the most boring one. On the contrary, it's the one that matters most. That project of yours, that piece of writing, that conversation that could change something in your life. And it's exactly there that your distraction gets strongest, almost clever, from how creative it gets. There's a reason for that. This task carries a risk, the silly ones don't. If you really give it your all, and it still isn't good enough, you'll find out something about yourself you'd rather not know. So your brain does the kindest thing it knows how to do. It distracts you, and that's that. As long as the task isn't finished, the verdict never arrives, and you never have to find out whether you were capable or not. What looks like laziness is, deep down, a form of protection. It's been on your side this whole time, sparing you from a risk that really hurts. You should only move to the next layer when you can look at the task you avoid most and say, out loud, what you're afraid it'll prove about you. Layer 5. The last one before it all comes together. Now that you know distraction is protecting you from a verdict, you can do the one thing that actually unlocks focus on these tasks. Take the verdict off of them. You've spent your life trying to force your attention to stay on something your mind reads as a threat, and attention always loses to threat. Every time. So the move here is a different one. You shrink the task until it's too small to threaten you. Write the project becomes write one bad sentence on purpose. Have the conversation becomes send one line. And you change the definition of done. Done stops being it turned out good and becomes I sat down and I stayed. When the task stops carrying the risk of judging you, your mind stops needing to run from it, and then focus stops demanding force, because there's nothing left to escape from, and you reach the end of the layers when sitting down with that task stops giving you that pit in your stomach of someone about to be judged. And before I show you how this all comes together, one important thing. Did you notice that none of these layers was a productivity trick? Each one showed you a piece of why your focus breaks, and the fix came attached right alongside it. If you're gonna start today, start with layer 1, just noticing your escape, for a few days. Don't skip to the end. Layer 5 doesn't work if you haven't been through the ones before it, because you won't even know what you're running from in order to take the weight off it. Each layer exists to get you ready for the next. And if you want, drop down in the comments and tell me just one thing, what feeling you found that makes you run. Reading other people's helps more people than you'd think, including you. So what does real focus feel like at the end of the day? Believe it or not, it's disappointingly quiet. You probably picture deep focus as something intense, an iron concentration, you gritting your teeth against distraction, winning by force. It's nothing like that. When the easy paths aren't there, when you can hold the discomfort without running, and when the task has stopped threatening you, focusing just becomes what happens. Nothing's left pulling you away, so you stay. No heroic effort, no battle at all. Just you and the thing, in the quiet. You never had a factory defect in your attention. You were trying to install focus on top of a fear nobody ever helped you see. Take that fear off the wheel, and you'll realize focus was there the whole time, waiting for you. One honest caveat before we wrap up, and this one is serious. If your trouble with focus is very old and very intense, the kind that's gotten in the way of your whole life since you were a kid, there might be more at play than just this, and it's really worth talking to a professional to look into it properly. Getting that help isn't weakness, it's just looking at the right thing, alongside someone who knows the subject. Now, let me pull the whole ladder together, for you to take with you. Layer 1, catch the instant you run, and what you feel right before. Layer 2, put the easy exits out of reach, so the real discomfort has to show up. Layer 3, when it shows up, stay another 30 seconds, and stretch that out little by little. Layer 4, on the task you avoid most, find out what you're afraid it'll prove about you. Layer 5, shrink the task and change the definition of done until it stops threatening you. None of these is a shortcut, and that's exactly why it works. The focus you were looking for was always on the other side of removing what made you run. Now you know what it was. And around here it works like this, a new case for us to investigate every week. Always one of those things you swear you already know, until you find out what it was hiding underneath. If this helped you, drop a like and subscribe. It helps more people find their way here. See you in the next video.